Hello, and welcome to Our Kids, brought to you by the Jefferson County Public Schools. I'm Pleasant Ridge Park High School correspondent Jake Humphrey. We have some great stories for this February where students make it a priority to set good examples in their schools. They work with an actual rock star to create their own song, and they engage in deeper learning by collaboration. Let's see how King Elementary students got a fun surprise from the JCPS flash dads as they came to school.
Today we're at King Elementary and we're actually doing Flash Dad. So that is a program that we have partnered with JCPS and other organizations to come out and showcase fatherhood within our community. Many of our employees, being in the solid waste department, start their day very early. So one thing we wanted to do was have them be able to go off and see kids out in the morning, something that they actually don't get to do with their own children.
We get together at the different JCPS schools and start the day off positive for these kids so that they can have a positive start to the day, and it kind of travels right through the day. So we've got different parts of our community and our workforce here out here just letting these young people know that we're here, we support them in their everyday as far as education and just all about their lives.
Oh, my man.
There we go. You know, it kind of builds a beautiful relationship. You know, especially when we talk about the relationship between the police and our young people. It kind of lets these young people see us in a positive light right off the bat, full of smiles and high fives and wishing them well wishings as they go on and learn and all that good stuff. So it means a lot. It bridges a much needed gap.
Doing this actually puts a smile on their face, helps them feel good, helps them get their day started. So it's something that we love to do, and we look forward to many more of them.
Good morning. Have a great day.
You know, to see the kids' faces as they come in here and they're smiling, because this is a surprise to them. They have no idea we're here. But when we see the smiles and the high fives and the encouraging words, it's wonderful.
At Slaughter Elementary, their Men of Honor group held a tie ceremony for young men setting good examples and showing leadership.
You tuck it in right there, see? You bring it through.
We are at Slaughter Elementary, and we are at the Men of Honor tie ceremony.
You, Isaiah, come up and select your tie.
Men of Honor is a program that we've initiated here at Slaughter Elementary School to help young men to develop self-worth and self-esteem, to have positive thoughts about themselves, and to care about themselves as well as others.
And make sure when you go over and under, keep it up towards your neck, okay?
We work on being respectful, responsible, safe and kind, and treating others how you want to be treated.
Imagine you're in a sticky situation and you do a bad choice. Things get worse, but if you make a good choice, things get better.
Be respectful, be responsible, be safe and kind, but we don't want them to just think about that for themselves. We want them to respect others. We want them to care for others.
Men of Honor is mainly teaching us how to learn how to grow up to be an honorable man. So how can you be an honorable man without a tie?
We ready? So right here, go over one more time, okay?
It means a lot to them. They will wear their ties. I would see them out on the playground playing with their ties on. They wouldn't take them off. It gives them a bolster of self-esteem that someone else cares about them besides just the people they see in their school building every day.
We are Men of Honor!
Dixie Elementary students had the chance to pick out new pair of shoes thanks to the generous support from Rack Room Shoes and the local community.
We are at Rack Room Shoes on Dixie Highway, and we're going to have about 60 plus students here picking out a brand new pair of shoes for the holidays.
Shoes that fit.
Raise your hand.
And it is a nationwide program.
This happened through really our partnership with Rack Room Shoes. Secondly, through generous contributions of the patrons who shopped at Rack Room Shoes, who decided to give a little extra so that a student at Dixie could get a new pair of shoes.
Well, let's start with Emma. We're going to look for boots.
Get a new pair of shoes, and When I go home, I'm gonna show my mommy and my daddy my new shoes, and they're going to be surprised.
It's a very rewarding experience for us and our staff because, you know, these people worked hard to raise the funds, the community as well, and then to see the look on these kids' faces when they get shoes. A lot of them have never had a brand new pair of shoes in their life, and it's a great experience.
But parents actually got to put on the form what type of shoe their child needed. So some are getting boots, some are getting tennis shoes, some are getting dress shoes.
I'm looking at these because I like these and I like the designs on them and the colors.
The color, they feel nice. I think it's cool.
Look over here.
So it was whatever the need was for that particular child and that family. But the student gets to pick out the shape and the color and whether or not they light up.
Anything that's blingy and lights up and shiny and these kids that come here, that's what they tend to like more than anything. These kids see the other kids wearing brand new Nikes or whatever, and then they can come in here and they get a good value, but they get a pair of the light up Skechers, or they get what the other kids see. And you know, it might not be the $120 pair of Jordans, but to them, it's even better.
It matters so much. You know, we're in the business of education, but we do so much more for students, and we couldn't do it all, quite frankly, without generous community support. So stakeholders that are partners with us, like Rack Room Shoes, and then the patrons that shopped here that gave a little extra, don't have enough words to say, to show my appreciation and say thanks to them. So it matters a lot.
Can you stand up so I can feel your toes?
They all can't wait to get back to school to show their classmates and their friends their new pair of shoes. So they actually get to wear them when they leave, and they'll be showing off their new shoes when they return to Dixie Elementary.
Nike shoes. Nike shoes.
Project-based learning is where students gain knowledge and skill by investigating complex challenges. Correspondents Payne Finley and Edward Smith show us how PRP's freshman AP class addressed societal issues.
As a part of the new academy model PRP has adopted, project-based learning will be widely used, and some teachers are already diving in.
How does the ethnicity in this genocide in Darfur, tell me how it relates?
At the start, the students selected a community-wide issue to tackle throughout the project.
The issue is kids being left in hot cars and getting injuries from it and how to stop it.
Project-based learning, it gets kids out of that routine, and it really makes them take control of their learning and kind of be their own leaders. And I kind of have to take a step back.
Community members provided valuable information for the students during the planning stage.
What Abraham Lincoln was saying.
Working in teams, students spent considerable time in research as they worked to form their solution. Their solution was researched through the lens of all the academies at PRP.
Like, on average, like 36 kids die per year in the U.S., and that's too much if it can be prevented, in my opinion. So we were like, this is an issue, we got to figure out a way to stop it.
Kids learn a lot when they hear and see people other than me. To get other people in and just different voices and different points of view. You know, kids may or may not agree with what I have to say, and that's okay, they don't have to. But when we have police officers in and professionals in to help them, and it really becomes real world and it really becomes real life for them, and they may or may not agree with them, but you can't argue that these are some issues we have in society. And if this is what we're going to be talking about, I think it's important to get a couple different points of view and different voices.
In the end, they presented their projects to a board of community members with a lesson learned.
I hope this project will empower them to make a positive change in their community. A lot of kids don't understand how easy it is to make a change for them and those around them.
We have more great stories about JCPS students. Stay tuned.
JCPS serves over 100,000 students, and with that, a lot of waste is generated.
We need to do our part to recycle because it conserves natural resources, helps the environment, and saves money.
When we recycle, we put less coal and gases into the power plant, which reduces the amount of toxins in the atmosphere.
We are JCPS, and we recycle. Yeah!
Welcome back to Our Kids. I'm PRP High School correspondent Jake Humphrey. Students at Olmsted Academy South created a new song with the lead singer of the rock group, My Morning Jacket. It was a special moment where the girls showed off their creativity and hard work.
We are at Olmsted Academy South.
We're doing the Young Authors Greenhouse. We're performing our poems that we wrote like a couple of weeks ago.
The girls have been engaged in a songwriting workshop with Teddy Abrams from the Louisville Orchestra, Jim James of My Morning Jacket. The girls are excited to present for these kind of famous people.
All the young authors got together and we decided that we should write a poem about our neighborhoods, our bedrooms, and we got together with Jim James and we wrote a poem on his song, I'm Amazed.
It is amazing. It's like they see the world in such a beautiful light, and there's so much truth that just comes out immediately. You know, I think everybody who has dealt with kids of all ages knows that beautiful, unfiltered aspect where just the truth comes out. So yeah, it's been really amazing.
Not even a rocket.
Jim James has taken a sentence from one of our poems and put it in a song.
10 gallons of creativity, 1 cup of ideas, 1 1/2 cups of partnership or individuality.
We talk all the time about giving students authentic experiences and allowing them to share their work with authentic audiences and having real world reasons.
In your dreams, most of the time you have good things happen, but in the world there's bad things happening, so I just put it together you breathe in something that you want and something that you like, and then you breathe out what's happening in the world.
It lets me share my feelings on how I feel and what's going on around me.
I'm amazed the sky is darker than ever. I'm amazed by the sun coming out like a heartbeat.
I want them to know that their voice matters and that what they say, that people want to hear that. The other thing that I want them to hopefully understand is that school doesn't always have to be books and tests, and that it can be these wonderful interactions and these opportunities to express themselves in newer, deeper ways.
Kind of cool that you get to work with people that have had experience writing songs.
Not even a rocket.
The Y-Pass Percussion Ensemble recently performed at the prestigious Midwest Clinic in Chicago. Let's see how they prepared for their trip.
We're at the Performing Arts School, and today we're rehearsing for the Midwest Band and Orchestra Clinic that we'll be performing at next week.
We have been selected to perform at the prestigious Midwest Band and Orchestra Clinic.
The Midwest Clinic is this international band and orchestra festival. Only 2 percussion ensembles in the entire world get invited to perform that are high schoolers, and we were selected as one of them.
Oh, no, I'm not nervous at all. No, I'm stoked. I'm so excited.
I'm extremely proud. They're a hardworking group, and we're a tight-knit family. Percussion is something we really take serious here, that we enjoy.
I'm extremely excited, especially because this is my senior year, and so I could see a lot of the younger underclassmen working together with the ensemble, and we're putting together a pretty big show for this festival.
It teaches you responsibility big time because you have other guys that are relying on you. So it's not like any other piece where you're all playing the same part. If one person doesn't know their part, then you can just drop them out. But everyone has different parts, and every part is important. So you have to make sure that you're reliable and trustworthy enough that people can trust you to play your part.
It's also about discipline. Discipline's a really big part of it. In rehearsing for something like Midwest, we can't pick up the music now. We have to rehearse every single week. We have to practice the music every single day because there's no way that we're going to perform that without some great kind of discipline.
I think this is our chance to really show out with the different variety of pieces we have and the different arrangements, grade levels. It really shows what being in a percussion ensemble is like.
The biggest thing is that everything we do is I want them to experience just the passion of the music. Live through the music, perform the music at the highest level, and let every note speak for itself, and enjoy that very moving, emotional experience.
It's my most exciting part of the day.
Correspondent Emma Thompson takes us to Zachary Taylor Elementary, where Ballard High School art students made a special delivery.
Ballard art students came to the aid of Zachary Taylor Elementary by creating a sculpture mascot. Zachary Taylor doesn't have an art program, and they wanted to spruce up the school with art. This is when they contacted Miss Forrester. Miss Forrester explains what the project was and the process.
This project gets started when Erin Wallace, who's a librarian from Zachary Taylor Elementary, contacted me and wanted to know if we would have any artwork that she could display in her library. And at first I kind of thought, well, I have a lot of old artwork, but I thought it might be more interesting if we made her something. So we collaborated, and my sculpture students ended up creating a mascot sculpture that spells out falcons, which is their Zachary Taylor mascot.
Old artwork wasn't enough for the students, and they decided to pursue a project with the help and guidance of Miss Forrester. We asked a student what the process of the project was.
The process of making the letters is figuring out which letter you get, and then doing the sides, making sure you have all the sides the correct length and stuff, so they can all go together as a puzzle. Then we tape it together, and then we cover it with paper mache, like 3 layers of paper mache, and then cover it with paper towel, like 1 layer of paper towel. Then we paint it white, the whole thing white, and you figure out what design and detail you're gonna do, and then you just paint it, and then you put this clear coat over it to make sure that it doesn't get dusty or anything like that.
We asked Miss Forrester what the students gained.
The students gained a sense of community. They worked in groups, so they had to collaborate here at school, but they also got the opportunity to go over to Zachary Taylor and deliver the piece to the school themselves. And working on this as a commission, they learned how to make art in a specific direction instead of just making whatever they wanted. They did have parameters, they did have rules, they did have size requirements that they had to work within. So it kind of taught them a little bit about creating a commissioned artwork.
The Ballard Art Program looks forward to many more community projects and helping the public one art project at a time. I'm Emma Thompson for Our Kids.
We have more great stories with JCPS students. Stay with us.
We get, on a weekly basis, we have deliveries from Courtney Farms. We get watermelons, we get different peppers. She delivers broccoli each week, and we have Leeds Gardens. He delivers peppers, corn on the cob, banana squash puree, and then we have Mr. Ayers, who's Ayers Orchards. He delivers different varieties of apples. So we get red and yellow watermelons from Courtney Farms and Jones Brothers weekly. On the apples, we probably do 125 cases a week. The watermelons, we've been running around right about 400 cases a week. We get squash and zucchini, and then blueberries, we ended up getting 300, which those all went straight to our schools. So it does make a difference in the numbers. I think it cuts down on produce from out of the state of Kentucky, and it's bringing our numbers up where it's local, Kentucky proud. Usually the yellow ones come in 2 to a case, the red ones are usually 4 to a case.
Welcome back to Our Kids. I'm PRP High School correspondent Jake Humphrey. Fairdale Elementary and Fairdale High School collaborated on a deeper learning project where the older students interviewed the younger ones.
You're at Fairdale Elementary today, and we are doing student interviews. The students from Fairdale High School have come over, and they are interviewing over 100 Fairdale Elementary students.
What is something about school you would never want to change? Lunch.
About what they think about school, what they like about school, what they wish they could change about school.
So what else about your school though? Think about the structure of your school.
The students are having to think about the responses that they're giving. These are not rote responses. This is not, hey, what's your favorite color? This is, how do you feel about what's happening with you? What do you enjoy about the lessons that you're learning? What was the greatest lesson that you've had?
It's a good experience for me because I'm getting to work with students. I also teach here sometimes, so I get to know how they feel about school and incorporate that into how I teach them.
And they get 20 minutes. So the high school student goes to the classroom, they pick them up, they get to know each other, they ask some things to make everybody nice and comfortable, and then they sit down and they have a conversation about the questions and about school and what they like and what they don't like.
But how would you do it?
I want them to learn that helping those bonds to grow, not just for the school itself, but also for themselves. These are students who are going to become teachers, and this is an opportunity for them to get another layer of what that feels like, you know. Not just, hey, let me help you with this math problem, but this is also, what do you think, and how can I be instrumental in helping you to think more?
What do you think is right?
All the data is going right into Google Forms and putting it in a spreadsheet for us.
In the afternoon, they do reading.
They can look at the data and say, okay, look at this, look at these trends, look at what our kids really like here.
So what has been something in math that you learned that was really fun?
These are high school students that are thinking about going into education, so what better way of having a systemic approach to deeper learning than getting them when they're just being prepared to be teachers.
This is where we grow our teachers, and Fairdale Elementary School has been instrumental in making sure that my students have a chance to grow.
Sounds like a good idea, right?
Lowell Elementary School took home the title of Best in State from Scholastic and celebrated their big achievement, where their students read more minutes of summer reading than any other school in Kentucky.
Adventures of Captain Underpants. Frog! Merry Christmas from Biscuit. Captain Underpants. My friend is sad. The cake.
We are celebrating the excitement these kids are going to have to know that they are the #1 in the state of Kentucky. They have worked so hard over the last several years to get in our Scholastic Book of World Records, and they made it this year.
Your reading minutes were the 2017 best in the state of Kentucky. Woo!
They came in #1 of all the schools that participated in our Summer Reading Challenge. They've come in the top 5 in the state in the past 4 years, and this is their year to achieve success. They're the #1 school in the state.
They have had to make sure that their minutes are logged in. They've had to read their minutes over the summer. They have been dedicated to that.
633,281.
The whole idea is we're keeping kids reading over the summer. There's a thing called the reading slide, so if kids aren't reading at least 4 to 6 books over the summer, their reading ability will slide during the summer, and they're going to come back to school reading at a lesser level than when they left at the end of spring. So the idea is to keep them reading so that when they come back in fall, they're at an elevated reading level.
Reading touches every part of our life. No matter what we do, we have to learn to read. We have to know how to read well. So these kids here have a great culture of reading. They always have year after year.
It says Low Elementary School in Louisville, and it gives the number of minutes that we read. So that page will be in the Scholastic Book of World Records forever for 2017.
This is a book that Scholastic publishes each year, and in our book we have the top schools in each state across the country, and they are going to be listed in there with the minutes that they've read. So it's very exciting for them to be in a book.
They really are great readers, make great students and great citizens.
Class Act Federal Credit Union celebrated their new location at Dawes High School. The new entrance is more convenient for community members to use.
1, 2, 3. This is even better than I had imagined. How could we have it where people from the community, customers, pull up right in front of a door, walk in here to the door, and are able to have students work with them and do this great work that they're learning in the classrooms, and transfer it to the actual work that they would be doing.
20, 40. It was really exciting. This is my first few months in Class Act, so it's kind of exciting to be a part of like the new move.
I couldn't be any more happy for our kids. That's the most important thing that we want right now, is to put our students at the forefront and give them the skills that are going to help them be successful, not only while they're at Dawes, but once they leave Dawes High School.
With the academies of Louisville, our goal is that we have students in an academy that as a freshman, they go through a freshman academy and get to experience what the various pathways we have in the school. So we have a business and finance academy. They take those things that they learn in class and now they get to actually do it. And are prepared for real-world relevant experience.
It was really exciting to get into the action, finally get some transactions in, use your training. I'm looking to get into the field of business and finance, so I think having this experience is really instrumental to figuring out what I really want to do in that field and how I'm going to execute it. We have the real money. We were doing cash handling with actual cash. We feel the weight of the actual money because it's different when you're working with pretend money. You don't really appreciate the value of it. But when you're working with someone else's money, you have the drive to do better.
Our vision is to be passionate, be engaged, be the best version of yourself. But our job at Doss High School, and a vision we take very, very seriously, is to put our students in the best position to be the best version of themselves. And so as we do that every day, moving this credit union to the front of the school, connecting to our community, connecting to the school, connecting to our staff and our alumni, we are helping everyone be the best version of themselves.
Correspondent Justin Dunn takes us to Fairdale High School, where students can major in fire science.
Here at Fairdale High School, students are striving to save lives and put out raging fires. Now let's take a look at Fairdale's Fire and EMS Academy.
Fairdale students are getting the chance to train like real firefighters. This program has been training students since 1991 to prepare them for real-life emergencies. Jay Burt is one of the instructors who runs the Fire and EMS program.
You know, I made it my point that to not measure my success by the number of kids that actually become emergency responders, whether it's firefighters or EMTs. I just try to use the program to take the traditions and the culture of the fire service and teach them things like leadership, self-confidence, teamwork.
Students in the program try to stay away from lectures and classroom work by doing hands-on tasks like breaking down doors, helping a citizen out of a fire, and shooting water. The firefighting students take pride in their program.
We open them up to an opportunity of the fire service, and what we do here is that we pretty much train you to kind of be prepared for it in a way. Not everybody's cut out for fire service, obviously, but we kind of open the opportunity up for you.
Well, after you graduate from this program, you can receive your 150-hour certification to be a volunteer firefighter. And legally, I think you can be a dispatcher with the classes Bert teaches.
Along with learning about firefighting, there are also students who are training to be an EMS. As the firefighters leave the scene, EMS students arrive, where they have to figure out what happened and how to solve and assist. Shaylee is one Fairdale student who trains in both the firefighter and EMS programs.
This program, what it does for me is it teaches me how to help people and how to take care of the situation, and I love it.
With the program running fully on donations, Fairdale's Fire and EMS program wouldn't be possible without the help of local fire departments. For our kids, I'm Fern Creek correspondent Justin Dunn.
Before we go, let's take another listen to the incredible Y-Pass percussion ensemble. Thanks for watching our show. We hope you enjoyed it. You can find full episodes of Our Kids on the JCPS YouTube channel. Until next time, keep supporting our kids.